But thanks for coming on. I'm so honored and happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's
Yeah.
bringing back so many memories.
I'm going to take you back to 1979 very shortly.
Oh, yes.
But before we do, I'd love to learn about your life. Going back to the beginning, where did you grow up as a child?
I grew up partly at my grandparents' house in Brunswick in Melbourne. And then my parents moved out to East Doncaster in Melbourne. And my father was a high school headmaster. So we moved around quite a lot to accommodate his job. So I grew up in the country as well. And then
Wow.
I came back to Melbourne and went to university, high school, and then I went to university. And then, yeah, that was it.
Did you go to the same school that your father was a headmaster at? What was that like?
Oh, yes, I did. And I was the naughtiest child in the school.
Really?
Well, I was a little bit of a goody two-shoes, I think, when I first arrived. And the kids, to be quite honest, were quite mean to me. So I thought the only way that I could become more accepted was to be the naughtiest. And that's what I did. So, smoking in the toilets and swearing. And my father came down on me more heavily than he did on any other student.
Yeah, I could imagine that would have been tough because get that at school and then you go home and then you got to deal with your father at home with the
Well, I remember one day being called into the headmaster's office, and it's like, Dad, you know, and he said, sit down. What have you been doing? Smoking in the school toilets. And I said, yeah, I have.
So did you rebel because your dad was a headmaster? Was
100%.
wow.
Yep, I did.
And now, if a child had a father as a principal, I mean, they probably have him at a different school these days. It wouldn't be like that.
I think it's highly unusual, actually.
It is, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, but I think it's because we were in a very, very small country town and there was no other school. That was it.
That was it.
So my house was right next to the school, and I would leave home at 2 minutes to 9 and be there on time. But
Do you
unfortunately,
remember? Sorry, go
my
on.
walk just no 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 just my walk to school wasn't very happy because people used to call me names like Frizzle Dick
Oh, really?
because my father's name was Fraser.
Oh, right. Okay.
And that was his surname. So it was basically, oh, there's Frizzle Dick's daughter. And so I really had to fight for my survival, to be honest.
Yeah.
They'd probably all be horrified, but if I told them about it now, they've probably forgotten, but I will never forget it.
Yeah. So you probably put up with some bull. I mean, I did as a child. Bullying is
Yeah,
it does affect you
it
badly.
can do. I'm pretty strong and resilient, though.
No, I can see that definitely. Do you remember much about Brunswick growing up? Brunswick's a beautiful area in Melbourne.
Oh, it's amazing. I've been past my grandparents' house many times going, oh, that's where I was a baby. What I remember was it had a very, very long corridor, and my grandfather used to wait behind a curtain at the end, and I never knew if he was there or not, and he'd pop out and go boo, and I'd get a hell of a fright. And I also remember that he and my grandmother, they didn't have toilets, indoor toilets then. So
Oh,
they had a little
yeah.
carpeted toilet in the bedroom, and my grandfather had a pee bottle.
Oh, wow.
I know, it was just another era altogether.
Yeah, I remember seeing something online about that. They actually had them at the back in those days. They had them out the back, and they used to have people that came along and emptied all the toilets from
That's right.
side.
But
Yeah,
they were the outside toilets. But in those days, nobody wanted to go out through the backyard and down the back to the toilet
especially in
during
Melbourne.
the night. So they had all these little indoor potty situations. I don't even know what I did. I can't remember. But it was I never even questioned it. It was just our life,
Yeah,
at the
way
time.
of life. Yeah.
And
So,
I adored my grandmother.
yeah. What did
She
you
was
like?
naughty. Sorry.
What did you like at school? What was? I mean, apart from your dad being the principal, was there anything you did like at school? Any subjects that you
I
favored?
was always very good at English, but I seriously never did any work.
Yeah,
But music.
music.
Music was my life all the way through. I had piano lessons from a young age from a very famous, not well known, but famous in music circles, an old lady called Ella McConaughey in Warrnambool. And we used to travel 45 minutes in the car for me to have piano lessons and my brother and sister as well, and ballet lessons and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And she was the most extraordinary teacher. I'm still grateful to this day that I was able to spend time with her. And she was so passionate
Yeah.
about the piano and about, playing with your heart.
Yeah. So from a young age, you were very into music, theatre, acting.
Yeah, I was because my mother grew up in a very poor town in Scotland and they had nothing. And then when my mother traveled with the British Army during the Second World War, she was very passionate about opera and ballet. And then when she finally arrived in Australia, she was very mindful of giving her children that sort of classical uh, thing that she'd never had the opportunity to have. So she would go out in the middle of the night and wash dishes all night in a restaurant so that she could pay for these music lessons and art lessons and
Wow.
all the rest of it. I know it's incredible. Actually, when I talk about it, I feel quite teary because there is a privilege in, I think, some certain societies, and I would say that I'm privileged because my parents educated me and they gave me the opportunity to have these extracurricular lessons in music and dance. And a lot of kids who are exceptionally talented, more talented than me, never have the opportunity to develop those skills or find their passion in something.
Yeah.
So I would say that I was very, very lucky. Um, and that's why I think today, because one of my main passions in life is teaching, I'm very interested in supporting kids from uh, not underprivileged, but kids that haven't had the opportunities, who need the support,
Yeah.
haven't come from middle class, wealthy, educated private schools, but have had not had those opportunities. But they're incredibly talented and they deserve
That
every chance.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. My 13-year-old daughter has been doing ballet and dance since she was 3, right through till now.
Which is why you forgot our meeting last week, isn't
Oh
it?
my gosh.
It's hilarious.
Apologies
But I
again.
thought at least he's being a good father.
Oh, but it's such a dedication as a parent, you really have to be
Oh,
dedicated to your child for that because there is
it's huge.
money for a start.
The money.
2, 3 times a week. You've the outfits, the concerts. It's
Yep,
a whole nother, like, you've really got to be a dedicated parent to make it work for your child too. So
absolutely.
what you're
My
saying.
granddaughter goes to Michelle Slater in Melbourne.
You got a granddaughter? You don't look like you're got a granddaughter.
I have an 8-year-old granddaughter who's
Oh,
complete divinity. I adore her.
yeah,
We all do. She's a very, very funny little human. But uh, yeah, the I know the commitment from her parents and the village that bring her up is extraordinary. And like you say, it's very expensive.
it is,
It's
yeah,
constant outlay for costumes and competition fees and then waiting around for the classes to finish and the toing and the froing. It's a really big commitment. And then there again, I say to Edie, you're incredibly lucky to have this opportunity provided by your parents.
yeah.
Yeah.
You think they can go on to do things when they're older, going through all these things as a child?
I
In
think that they will definitely go on to do things. Whether or not they'll go on to the profession is another matter. But
Yeah,
I think the dancing and any kind of musical activities, choirs or playing in the orchestra or whatever they do at school gives them a confidence and a broader outlook on life, no matter what, careers they may go into.
yeah,
Our daughter, I was married to Stuart Maunder. We're still best friends. He's he's the artistic director of Victorian Opera at the moment. Anyway, we did give birth to a spectacular child who had extraordinary opportunities as a child, and she went to WAPA and she has not stopped working for 20 years.
really.
She's currently in CATS at the moment.
Fine
But anyway,
cat.
I'm probably
Wow.
skipping ahead.
No, no, that's amazing. No, skip ahead. That's fine. And just talking about opera. My gosh, I listened to a clip on YouTube last week of you with Amanda Thane. Is that how I pronounce
Oh,
her name?
yeah, my beautiful friend.
Yeah, sadly passed away in
Yeah.
2012. But wow, what a voice you have. It's
Oh, thank you.
amazing.
That was a beautiful role. That was Susanna and the Countess duet that you probably heard from the Marriage
Yeah,
of Figaro.
yeah,
And I wasn't originally cast in that role. I was covering, and one night the Susanna got sick, and I got a fairly late phone call saying you're on tonight. And so I did it. And then the next season they cast me in the role, and Amanda was the Countess,
oh,
and she was an exceptional human and extraordinary singer. And
yeah.
I'm very, very good friends with uh, her widower, Glenn Winslade, who's an outstanding singer and singing teacher. So circles within circles, you know.
It's around. Definitely. Just going back to your earlier life, so once you finished high school, where did you go from there? Did you just sort of go into a job or you went straight into
Well, while I was finishing high school, really in the last
Hmm.
2 or 3 years, I was doing television. So I went on a funny old program called Kevin Dennis New Faces, Channel 9.
Yeah, yeah, the
I
cut.
know, it's
Yeah.
crazy. And I came second to Hamish McCormack. I still haven't forgiven him for that. Um, in one
But,
year. And
sorry,
after that,
sorry, New Faces then ended up on Hey Hey It's Saturday, didn't it? It became
well, kind of. I'm not sure about that. They're very different shows.
yeah.
New Faces was an actual competition.
Right.
And we had many of those competitions in those days, like Pot of Gold on Channel O, which or Channel yeah, we called it Channel O, but I think then it moved to Channel 10. I'm not sure about the timelines. And a wonderful show called Showcase, which starred so many incredible singers that are still working today. But mine was on Young Talent Time. Tina Arena was on that, and Deborah Byrne, and
Yeah.
all these extraordinary people. Philip Gould, and yeah, there are just so many of them. So mine was Kevin Dennis New Faces, and I then got to do all the variety shows, which we used to have, and unfortunately we don't have them anymore in Australia. But we had the John Lane show, and Ernie Sigley show, the Mike Walsh show, Ted Hamilton on the ABC. Who else was there? There were quite a few, and I used to play piano and sing songs, and sometimes I sang my own compositions.
Oh wow. Wow.
So I was
See,
kind of doing that while I was at school.
okay. Those shows are amazing though. Like you talk about Ernie Sigley and Don Lane. I
Oh,
mean,
fantastic!
so talented, but I mean, I don't think those shows would work now. It's all sort of social media and TikTok and
It's different, isn't it? I'm
yeah.
very good friends with Don Lane's son, PJ Lane,
Wow.
and he's currently no, not rejigging, but he's getting up a show which is based around the life of his dad in television, which is the extraordinary stories.
Yeah.
And the show is called I Love Your Faces. You know how Don used to do that. And so PJ's taking it to Crown the Palms in November in Melbourne.
That'd be amazing.
And so he's done the show a few times at various places, and audiences love it. They really love it. But unfortunately, that era of audience members, including myself, they're all starting to, oh, shuffle off the mortal alcohol. So the show's getting up very soon, and hopefully it's going to, a lot of memories will be relived
Yeah.
through Don. But Ernie, I don't think Ernie's with us anymore.
He
Mike,
passed away.
Mike Walsh, no, he's not. Yeah, but all that whole thing with Denise Drysdale, I mean, she was just exceptional, and he was divine. There's Bert Newton as well. I used to do his show, and Mike Walsh owns Her Majesty's Theatre in Melbourne. So he's still like at the center of, you know, the show, sort of the center of musical theatre productions in Australia.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, an extraordinary life and career.
What was it like going on shows like that, being so young? I mean, Don Lane and Bert Newton, Ernie Sigley, I
I
mean,
know.
massive at that time. I mean, what was it like as a young girl going on shows like that?
Honestly, I don't think I worried about it too much. I just went on and did it. And
Yeah,
I loved getting dressed up and it's pretty, I suppose it's pretty daunting, but I don't think I really thought about it much at the time.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, I loved it. It was amazing.
was the golden age of TV back then. It really,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely right. And it's a wonderful, just the cameras buzzing around, the studio audience being live. Yeah, we just don't have it anymore. Apart from the voice shows like The Voice, Australia's Got Talent. It's very different. It's super sophisticated
yeah,
and very rehearsed. We used to have a run through, say if it was one of the morning shows, we'd have a run through at 7:30 in the morning. Oh, killer. And then, you might be on at 10 past 9 or even 8:30 or something like that. There was virtually no rehearsal. So
right,
you just have a run through and go on. But
mate.
I think shows like The Voice are highly produced and they're very sophisticated and wonderful. And they do unearth some extraordinary talent. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, where technology has gone and YouTube and things, I mean, they're uncovering some amazing. I mean, look at Justin Bieber is just an example.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so good on them. But yeah, but I mean, you go back to the nostalgia of those of that period, and it's you can't compare it to now, but that's okay.
No, exactly. No, it's a whole
What
different world now.
it is. I want to test your memory and take you back to the 27th and 28th of February 1979 was when episode 2 and 3 of Prisoner first aired. And
Yep.
you played the first pregnant inmate, Rosie Hudson.
Yep.
Um, and at the time, Prisoner was only, I think, was only commissioned for 20 episodes or something at the time. You're in episode 2, 3, 4, 6, and then you came back in 70, 71, 72, and episode 73. How did you get the part of Rosie, if we can take you that far back?
I think it probably came from Kevin Dennis' New Faces.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
and I didn't have an agent at the time, and quite a few things came out of Kevin Dennis' New Faces for me, and I think they phoned Channel 9 and said, would she be interested? It was a lot more sort of relaxed in those days. I
Yeah.
think I did an audition, but I can't even remember that.
Yeah.
But I know that I was very young, and Alan Sutcliffe and Craig Duke kindly organised all of my little scenes, and there weren't that many, to be put onto one little I don't know if it's a USB or a link or what it was now. I can't remember, but uh, it was quite extraordinary looking back on that, and I couldn't quite believe it was me. Um,
You still look the same.
yeah, yeah, it was crazy. And then, if you think of all the cast members that were in that show, so circles within circles, I've met up with Amanda Muggleton, who I was just reminiscing about the fact that I think Rosie blamed Chrissy Latham for Sam, her baby, being taken away from her in prison.
You had a
Uh,
fight scene with her in the rec room when
well,
Vera was teaching the inmates typing, and then you just
yes, and I punched her in the stomach. Shocking. Anyway, years later, Amanda and I did a concert together because I was playing the piano for her, and Amanda's an amazing performer and singer and actor, of course. And I said, "I'm so sorry for punching you in the stomach." And she said, "Oh, don't worry, it's part of the show." But yeah, you think, how did all that? Well, she stabbed somebody to death, so she can't talk to, right?
Yeah, that's right, with the scissors in episode 3, I think it was. The Frank.
Yeah,
Well, and speaking of like, the cast at the time that were on the show when you came on in episode 2, I mean, you got Val Lehman, Carol Burns, Fiona Spence, Elsbeth Ballantyne, Belinda Davey, Kirsty Child, Billy Hammonberg, Peter Tapano. I mean,
yeah.
the
The
list goes
beautiful
on.
Peter.
Yeah, she's
So
amazing.
many, so many, and so many great careers. Elspeth Valentine, did you say that?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean,
And you had some
and quite,
amazing scenes with Monica Morn as well, who played Pat O'Connell at the time.
yeah.
And
And
sorry, go on.
No, no, no. I was just thinking people like Ziggy Thornton
Yeah,
and oh, I mean, look, yeah, it was and Tina Bursell came in a little bit later. We weren't actually on together,
yeah.
but Barry Quinn
Barry Quinn, yes.
and
That was your
Barry and I.
first scene was with Barry, actually, the Dr. Miller in the doctor's office.
Exactly, exactly. So Barry, I always thought Barry was this unbelievably good-looking, charming, English, dapper, well-mannered, you know, beautiful man. And then I was terrified of him. Years later, we were working together at the Australian Institute of Music. I think he was the artistic administrator or something like that for a musical theatre course in Sydney. And we became friends then. He's just the loveliest person, just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it seems like an absolute gem.
So, but lots of those things have come around again, not with me particularly, but say, for instance, Colette Mann recently did Follies in Melbourne with my ex-husband, Stuart Maunder.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and was doing soft shoe shuffle. And those lots of those sort of wheels within wheels have happened. So it's really quite amazing. Yeah.
Is and sort of going back, Ian Bradley took over the show from episode 2 because Reg Watson said it depressed him and wanted out. Created this show and then didn't want it anymore. But I found your storyline to be like really ahead of its time back then of, having a child in prison and then having the child taken away when it was
I agree. I think the whole show was ahead of its time,
definitely,
to be honest, with all the rights of, feminism and women were outspoken. There's LGBTQ
yeah,
issues coming up and just the, I don't know, I suppose the level of violence and frustration with women being separated from their children and families. I don't know what the answer is, but it's a really traumatic thing
it is.
uh, to be in prison long term.
Yeah. Now, did you know that you're only going to be in for a few episodes and then coming back at a later stage? Was that the?
Yeah, I think that was the plan
Yep.
because they had the Rosie, but they also had Roz, who was Sigrid Thornton.
Yep.
And I think, to be honest, they had so many storylines going on at the same time that it was probably just all a bit much. So it was easier just to put Rosie in a psych ward. But look, maybe they didn't like me. Maybe they're going, we don't like her. I have absolutely no idea what happened
Yeah, there's
after the
a lot of
cutting.
a lot of unanswered questions about Prisoner, and we had Ian Bradley on actually, who did answer a lot. But I found your character fascinating because you're there for a few episodes, and then all of a sudden you're back. Baby Sam's 11 and a half
Yeah.
months old, and you're back
Yep.
for a couple more episodes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So do you
It was
remember?
bizarre.
You remember what your first day was like going into
I
the?
do. I do. I remember firstly having to get up in the middle of the night and yeah, just getting to, I think it was Channel O, which was used to be out at near Monash University. It was a long way out.
Yeah,
Hang on, east of Melbourne.
Unawatting.
Yeah, Nunawading. That's it, Nunawading. And just the excitement of it, learning the lines, putting on the prison garb and
What was that
going in.
like? How did they fit you out to make you look pregnant? What was that like?
Oh, well, I was fitted with a stomach, of course. And I don't know what they do these days because, I'm possibly too old to play a pregnant woman these days. But I just remember just a very well-shaped cushion. And when I watched those episodes, I thought, well, it looked quite pregnant. It looks fine, which made me think, it's just a terrible thing to say, but people often say that Meghan Markle was never pregnant because the shape was a bit weird, but I think that's crazy because women come in all different shapes.
Definitely.
They can be high and round or they can be flat and low and all kinds of different, scenarios. So yeah, so I was fitted with that. And then I think they just was probably quite easy when I think about the prison garb because they would have just had a whole lot of smocks and you
Yeah.
just got your size really. And then I guess, a different t-shirt or whatever underneath. So it was all very easy. I remember having to borrow my mother's shoes, which were awful shoes. Um, and she said to me one day, "What are you doing with my shoes on?" And I said, "Oh, I'm wearing them on prisoner today." And she said, "You're not having my shoes." And I said, "I'm afraid I am, Mum." Anyway, one day the scene was shot from the beginning of the shoes, and it went up my legs to the. This was the birth scene. And my mum said she was at home and she screamed out when she saw her shoes, actually getting a close up, basically. But yeah, that's what I remember about the costumes.
Yeah.
I don't think we were allowed to wear, because I love wearing makeup, as you can probably tell. And we weren't allowed to wear a lot of makeup in those days. So, for the show, I mean.
Yeah.
And so I was probably in the toilets putting on a little bit of extra this and that. I can't remember. And I just had very long hair, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very 70s it was.
So 70s. Yeah, it was quite a look, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
the part down the middle and sort of flat.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was the look back then. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you remember
absolutely.
much about? You're also involved with the Frankie Doyle riot with Carol Burns, who unfortunately is no longer with us. Do you have any memories of the riot and what was going on at the time and working with Carol?
Yeah, look, I was a younger actor than a lot of those ladies.
How
They
old
were
were you
still
when you were
young.
on there, do you think?
Oh, 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because yeah, but anyway, they were obviously, probably in their 20s and 30s, I don't really know. But they were so experienced, and I think I was really overwhelmed by their ability and their seemingly confident
Yeah,
approach to everything. And I think when you get into a scene like a riot, it's scary, even though it's safe because it's rehearsed to be safe.
of course.
But it's quite frightening.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
could
But
imagine.
I think I remember being more of an observer than anything, and then escaping or getting under a table or something. I can't
Would you have liked to have stayed on the show longer? It was that ever a possibility?
I would have, yes, but they didn't ask me.
Yeah.
I was also doing other little shows, like not little shows, little parts in shows, like The Sullivans
Other
and Country Practice, just little parts in Cop Shop.
shop, yeah.
Yeah, when Johnny Farnham was on Cop Shop, I remember being down at Channel
Oh,
7 doing that.
oh,
I
wow.
did a few of those sorts of things, but my passion at the time was opera,
Yeah.
and I wanted to sing,
Yeah.
and that's really where I was headed. Nothing was going to stop me.
Yeah. Fantastic. Do you have any memories of working with Sheila Florence? I have to ask everyone that's on Prisoner.
Gorgeous. Absolutely divine. And she was, pretty much like her character. Take away the rough bits. She was adorable.
Yeah.
She always was adorable, and I bet everybody says that, right?
Oh yeah, everyone's got a great memory of Sheila, and it's funny listening. There's some clips of her on YouTube being interviewed back in the
Oh,
90s.
really?
Hearing her,
Okay.
it's how she talks like so elegantly and normal, and then you you hear,
Very smart cookie.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
smart and just tiny, like a little bird.
yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The scene where you're outside I'm not sure if you remember, it was one of your last episodes, you're outside the prison and you're having to hand baby Sam back over to the foster parents, which was quite it was a very traumatic and sad scene. How did you
Yeah.
prepare for that? Do you remember much about that day and that scene?
No, I don't know how I prepared for it, but I know that I had and I still have a really powerful maternal instinct. My daughter will tell you that, it's like, yes, mum, we're fine. She goes, I'm 39 and I don't need you to worry about me. Um, but I can't even imagine what it would be like to give up a child. I can't imagine that trauma.
Yeah.
Um, you would never get over it.
Which
And
I think they said that at the time, once they turned one, but I'm not sure that was 100% correct. I think now it's a few years older, the kids are in prison with their mums. I think I'd have to double
I
check.
didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So but still
God,
a
it's not.
powerful storyline for the time. I mean, you know, in such an early days of Prisoner too, to,
Yeah.
to show that. So
It's really interesting that that Reg, he was the original creator, right?
yeah, so they, I mean, obviously they had Within These Walls in the UK was the first sort of prison,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, Prisoner, yeah, it's sort of the same. And yeah, Reg created Prisoner, and then he didn't want to do it anymore after two episodes. That's what Ian was telling us. He said it just depressed him, so he got out of
Oh,
it.
I see. I wonder how he feels about giving it up now.
I think, well, he passed away a few years ago, but yeah, you do wonder. I mean, he went on to obviously do Neighbours and everything else, but yeah,
Yes.
interesting.
It is interesting, but it might be why the plot lines were a little bit unsettled in those days, where they were trying to find the audience and trying to find the storylines that were going to hold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
which
think
is
when
maybe,
Coral Druin, who's been on the on podcasts a lot, she was one of the head writers and script writers on Prisoner. She came in, I think, episode 200 onwards, but she said the show didn't even have a Bible. You know, normally shows have a like a Bible with all the characters and everything that's been.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think there was even a Bible at that time where.
No, it was very much day by day.
Yeah.
I think the script writers were working around the clock.
Yeah, and I mean it was 2 hours a week as well. They were producing. I mean it was
A
pretty
lot of television.
pretty full on.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I just want to ask about Monica Morn. Do you have any memories of Monica? You had a few close scenes with her, who played Pat O'Connell, and she was
Mm,
at the maternity wing with you and
mm.
through that. Do you remember Monica at all? I know it's so long ago.
It's so long ago, isn't it? I think I just remember her as being very contained and very clever actor. And
Yeah.
I really looked up to all these people. I think I was in awe of everybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, but everyone was so lovely as well. It was really fun. It was a really nice group to be with.
Yeah.
And beautiful people, beautiful women. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And men.
I've heard that, and also about the crew as well. Everyone just talks so highly of the crew.
Oh gosh, don't ask me to remember the crew.
Oh no, no,
Wouldn't
I won't pretend
wouldn't do
this one.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, look, I don't know. It honestly, Matt, it's such a long time ago. It's just, it's flooding back to me talking to you, but I really have to dig deep,
yeah. No, I know.
go
It's.
into all those names. Yeah.
Are you surprised at how popular the show is still now to this day? From
Well, maybe it was 1990 something. There was a prisoner sort of meeting, cast meeting in Birmingham, I think. I don't know if you remember any of that. And we all went up. Um,
I was at the
and
doco they shot the on the inside. I think it was called. There was a tour with
oh,
Sheila Florence, Carol Burnett.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that online.
I think it might have been. I know there have been a few. That was the only one that I went to because I was living in London at the
Oh, you went
time.
to that? Okay.
Yeah, and I actually went to it and I was just, that's when I thought, oh my God, this show's huge. I had no idea because my world was opera and
Yeah,
music and my child. And I'd sort of moved away from the television days. But there were so many people there and they were so passionate about it. And I remember going along the line of meeting people and saying hello to some of the fans and signing. And one lady said to me, she said, "Oh, you have such a sad story, Rosie. Whatever happened to your baby?" And I didn't know what to say. I honestly didn't because I couldn't lie to her and say, "Oh, well, he's at, university now." Or I didn't want to let her down and say, "Come on, darling, we were acting."
yeah,
Um, it was really, and I thought this is actually really a centerpiece of some people's lives. And I think that's how television works, isn't it? It comes to us and we feel like we know these people. I've done it myself. I feel like, oh, I'm just about to say hello to you, but I actually don't know you, just on my screen in the
yeah.
house.
I know
But
it's different
people,
for a fan. I mean, we like I've had like we're up to episode 72, I think this is so far. And some of the casts that come on and they're on prison for 3 or 4 years and they're saying like, it was just a job, Matt. Like it was just a job at the time. But for us fans, we're like so fully invested and involved in the show from when we were younger. So yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
Well, sort of. I never think of anything as just a job. I think anybody who's working in acting or music or whatever, we're blooming lucky, to be honest.
yeah,
We're not picking up garbage in the streets. And I think everything we do is a gift and an opportunity to communicate and tell stories. So
yeah,
I never think of it as just being a job, but there are also many other jobs that are going on at the same time. So yeah, but I think it made me feel with some gravity actually how some people did take it really seriously. And I felt like I wanted to take this lady, she was behind a cordon. I felt like I wanted to take her away and have a sit down and a little bit of a chat and just, see if she was all okay and stuff like that. I don't know. Felt a
yeah.
little bit sad for her, but hmm.
I was curious to know what did happen to like obviously in real life, baby Sam. Did he even know he was on prison? I mean, there was not. I don't think there was even a credit for him at the end on the the
I
credits.
have no idea. And there were probably seven of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I've never bothered to look that up. So, nobody could tell you.
No, well, yeah, it's funny because I don't remember all the storylines from Prisoner until like I've watched it religiously when I was younger, and I've gone back, and obviously I do a lot of research now, going back on episodes. But it's funny because there's 692 episodes, and then you go back and do some research. You go, oh, hang on, I didn't remember that. Okay, that's right. And
No.
yeah, so it's been interesting. Yeah,
Oh, it's fascinating, isn't it? And also, it's one of those shows I think that you could say, well, that happened in the story, and I remember where I was that day, a little bit like 9/11 or when Diana died. You
yes,
go, you remember when that happened?
definitely.
Because there were so many sort of momentous moments through the drama or
There was.
melodrama, if you like, of Prisoner or Cell Block H. Yeah, it's I don't know what it was that intrigued people so much about it, but I think it's partly that there were so many women in it.
Yeah,
Because we had male-dominated shows,
at the time.
like Division 4, for instance, and
Oh, that's right.
Homicide. It was all about the macho male and all of that. And they were gorgeous hunks, of course. To have a show that was dominated with strong women was, whoa, really different.
Yeah,
And I think true to life because women are strong
yeah,
and women can be dominant and women, have a voice. And I think that was what made it really stand out. And it's
yeah,
also the intrigue. I
yeah,
might tell you a naughty story later, but the intrigue of what's it really like on the inside.
definitely.
It's quite interesting, isn't it? Have
It
a
is.
peek behind the doors.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's how. I mean, my mum was a religious fan of Prisoner, and I was 7 or 8, and I would sneak out and watch it behind the couch, and then she'd catch me. Oh, okay, just watch it. It's fine. What? I mean, I shouldn't have been watching it, but it's just one of those shows. I mean, and now, like even watching back, I mean, some of the storylines are a little bit. Now you look at it and go, oh, yeah, no, that wouldn't have happened, but. Most of it
Yeah,
still stands up now. Like you watch it, and a lot of it still stands up right now.
that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Yeah, I'm
uh,
amazed.
and then to have
It's
Wentworth.
funny how our parents used to keep us away from the television, though. Because I remember when Number 96 on it came on and we were all
Oh
in
my
bed and I
gosh.
snuck out and saw the boobs one night. Well, it was either Number 96 or The Box. Can't remember. But my parents were like, go back to bed. Oh, okay.
A
Oh, it's
friend of mine,
hilarious.
he wrote I've got this here, number 96, a book. He wrote a book on it. Nigel Giles, yeah, he's got a whole
Wow.
about everything about number 96. It's
How fascinating.
fascinating, yeah. But I mean, that was what a show.
What a show. Yeah. All of those shows. Well, they were groundbreaking, weren't they?
They were, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
great to go back and watch them and just reminisce and yeah. So
Yeah.
No, yeah, amazing memories about Prisoner. And would there be a character that you would have liked to have played looking back now? Would you like to have been a top dog or officer or a doctor or
I think now I could easily play a top dog.
yeah,
Uh, I quite like that kind of character. I think that could be fun. And I quite like bringing out the rougher side of myself. Fancy myself as that. But I think when I was young, I think I probably Chrissy Latham was the one because she was a bit psycho.
it should be crazy.
And no, I thought that was a great part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was amazing. And she played it so well too.
Oh, she's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Did you get a chance to see Wentworth at all, by any chance?
No, only a few episodes when I was in England, but no, I haven't because I lived in London for a long time.
Oh, how long were you in
Um,
London for?
10 years. Well, I've been there most of my life. I go try and go there uh, at, once every 18 months. Last year I was there twice because I was doing concerts
Yep.
with my beautiful colleague Philip Quast in the centre of London. That was very exciting. But yeah, I would go to England a lot or go to London a lot. Well, we lived in London for right through the 90s.
Oh, wow.
My daughter went to school there, and my husband was working at the Royal Opera Covent Garden.
Oh, amazing.
So that was, and my family was in Scotland. So
Wow.
we would often get up to Scotland and see them. They're hilarious up there, the Scots. They just say one word and we're on the floor laughing. They go, "What are you laughing at?" I go, "I don't know, you're just funny. Your accent's funny."
They are funny. What was
They
it?
drink a lot too.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
So
that.
it goes well with Australians.
We like to have a drink. What was it like in London in the 90s? Was it different to how it is now?
Well, in the 90s, we were living in the suburbs in a place called Dulwich, which was a beautiful village. Is it different? Yeah, look, there are millions more people. I think no, I was going to say the threat of terrorism, but in fact, during the 90s, we had the IRA threatening with bombs quite a lot. And I remember being separated from Lucy and Stuart one night. We were meant to be meeting somewhere at an Indian restaurant for dinner, and the tube shut down,
Oh, wow.
and we didn't have mobile phones, and we just knew that we couldn't get to where we were supposed to be going. And there was a major alert on in London. There were no litter boxes because people were afraid of bombs being planted. Yeah, look, for me, look, apart from Sydney and Melbourne, which I obviously adore, Australia, Sydney is the most extraordinary city. And my family are all in Melbourne. I go there a lot. It's an incredible place.
Yeah,
But London, I just, my heart still hangs in there. I love it so much.
yeah,
Uh, and it's different from other big cities in England. But, also the English countryside, it just breaks your heart in the middle of summer. You've got those beautiful heady days and people on the greens. And I really miss that life that we had.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
I
I
try and get
watched
back there as much as I can.
I watched that Antiques Roadshow a lot, and just seeing those amazing buildings that they're at, and all
And the
that
gardens,
green, really green grass, and it just
beautiful.
it looks stunning. Yeah,
So beautiful.
yeah.
It's a very different life. Right now, I'm very, very grateful to be in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? With the state of the other side of the hemisphere, I just, it's pretty crazy.
It is. How long have you been in
Mm.
Sydney for?
Well, I moved up to Sydney when I was 21
Yep.
to join the Australian Opera. And that was the beginning of my opera career. Uh, and so I was here for 10 years and then moved to London and
Sorry, just
then came.
going back to 21 and the opera. So what was that hard to get into? Is it like you can just get into it, or you've got to go through a big sort of audition process?
Do you know what? I, for me, I was picked out of the chorus by the director one day to play the pretty girl in the window in Don Giovanni. So he's flirting with yet another woman, singing a song and playing his little lute or whatever it was. And then I got friendly with Richard Bonning, who was Joan Sutherland's husband, and Joan Sutherland was playing Donna Anna. She was playing the lead role in this opera. And I was damn cheeky in those days. And I went up to Richard Bonning one day and I said, "Could I sing for you, Maestro?" And he said, "Of course you can, my dear," it's just as the way he would. And so I don't know how, but they set up an audition at the Palais Theatre
Oh, the ballet.
in Melbourne. And I
Beautiful.
sang two songs and they offered me a job on the spot. Now, that doesn't happen these days. So I was lucky, really lucky, crazy lucky, but also I was very, very young to take that step.
Yeah.
And I found it was quite easy to land the job, and then the pressure was on.
Wow.
And I struggled a lot with mental health issues in the early days and lacking in confidence, and I just hadn't had the experience.
You lack
But I
confidence,
still hung
really?
in there for a long time. Sorry.
You lack some confidence, really, back then.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I was very self-critical as well. But I find it look, I mentor and I teach a lot of singers, a lot of performers, and that is the thing, you're talented, you're good at what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with what you do. And they're busy pulling themselves apart.
Yeah.
And that for me is one of the most interesting parts of teaching is teaching people to believe in themselves and concentrate on the work, leave their ego out of it, and just surrender to what you're doing in the moment. That's the hardest thing to do. Oh, hello.
A
That may be a cat.
cat.
Now, look, are you going to stick your tail in my face again? Go on. So he'll come back because he
Yeah, that's
like
like,
quite likes a Zoom chat.
yeah. Actually, just
Uh,
actually going back for a minute, when I was saying to you, I forgot to hit record on an interview. It was actually during COVID. Speaking of cats, remember that lawyer that was on in America, and he had a Zoom meeting with a judge, but he had the cat face on his. Do you remember that by any chance? It went all around the world.
oh
Um,
my God.
so he had a cat face from the Zoom that he couldn't turn it off, and the magistrate
That's hilarious.
interviewed him, and of all things, he forgot to hit record, and we had to go back and do it. But it was just a funny story because he had that
So funny. So he had his avatar on.
as a cat. He didn't know how to switch it
Yeah,
off. 'Cause obviously, Zoom at the time was just starting, and we're all sort of getting to learn how to use Zoom.
getting used to it. I'm not 100% over. In fact, I just checked that we're recording here because I thought, oh, we wouldn't want to do all this again because you forget what you said spontaneously. But
Yeah.
anyway, I can't remember what I was raving on
I
about.
know we're talking about how you being a teacher and self-confidence and
Yeah, but I think it's the human condition
it
because
is.
I look at, the most talented people around me, and often the most talented are quite sensitive and they suffer a lot from mental health issues. And we're not talking need to go into a psych ward, although sometimes they probably should go into a psych ward. But I mean, just that fear of going out on stage every night. I think it's a little different for film and television because you can always stop.
Yeah.
Although you're going to be in trouble because it's a waste of time and you don't want to stop, obviously, but you can go again. But when you walk out on a stage, that's it, you're there.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to maintain that focus. And it's a constant battle to bring yourself to that level, possibly 8 shows a week. In opera, probably 2 or 3 performances a week to protect the voice. But in
What's it
musical
like for your
theatre,
voice? What like after doing 3 shows? How's your voice feel? I always ask that.
well, if you're singing well, your voice should feel good. But
Okay.
with an opera, that's why they only do 2 or 3 performances a week because the voice has to be in great condition for opera because people come to hear great singing. And if you're going to do 8 shows of opera, you would just conk out. It's too much. It's too much pressure on the voice. But musical theatre uh, performers have to do 8 shows a week, and it's a lot. And they have to dance.
Wow.
But the emphasis is slightly more on the acting in musical theatre. But people say, "Oh, it's all about the acting. Doesn't matter about the singing." It does matter about the singing. You have to sing well and act well and dance well,
Yeah.
and it's a huge thing. And a lot of singers get themselves into trouble, and that's the sort of focus of having a good technique is knowing how to get yourself out of trouble. Because you could wake up most days and go, "Oh God, I feel tired today. I don't want to do it." We have to find your way back to finding your voice to be free and resonant
Yeah.
and get on and do the show
How do
and
you
build a
deal with
reliable career.
how do you deal with obviously some casts that I've spoken to, a lot of prisoner casts were theatre actors before prison.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
and
Yeah,
I've spoken about it, and I'm curious to ask your opinion about it. But you could be doing 7 shows in a week each night, and Monday night the audience are just loving what you're doing. Like it's amazing, you're getting all the great applause. But then Tuesday night, a different audience, you're still doing the same thing, but you're not getting what you got on Monday night. How do you deal? Like,
100%.
how do you?
100%. Well, as Nancy Hayes, who was a great
Yeah,
doyen and superstar of the musical theatre and theatre world, she says, you can't hear an audience smile. And that's the thing, you could be at a matinee, for instance, where you have a slightly or maybe even a very much older demographic. And so they don't have the physical rowdy energy of maybe a Friday night of younger ones who've been out drinking and they're in party mode. It's
yeah,
never going to be the same. So I think it's like any relationship. It's a bit of give and take.
yeah,
So I think the performers find that, or we find that if we don't get response from an audience, we think, oh, I'm no good tonight, and vice versa. It's really hard to tell, but an audience to me is like a personality. It's a quiet audience, it's an appreciative audience, it's an older audience, it's a rowdy audience. I mean, I was at Cats the other night watching my daughter do her first Grisabella, and people behind me were yakking away and having a few drinks, and we just politely turned around and had a bit of a chat with them and didn't really have a chat, just I gave them the death stare.
that's
And I've taught my granddaughter that too.
oh really?
She said, I can do a death stare now, Grant. She calls me Gaga. She's like, "Okay." But anyway, but every audience is different. And so you just have to play Wednesday. Every show is different. Never try and recreate it. Stay in the moment and don't expect anything from your audience. You just give the same performance and that's it.
Yeah,
If you're looking for approval, you're in the wrong game.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
fascinating.
very interesting though, because psychologically it can affect you.
Yeah, I always wondered that because I mean we used to go to a lot of theatre shows before COVID and everything, and I always thought, what the audience could be so different each night. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, but shows are still happening after COVID.
Oh yeah, no, they are. They're they are. I just haven't had a chance to get back to them, but
You can't afford to go because of the dance lessons.
actually, speaking of dad, we the dance school my daughter goes to, they made us do a dad's dance one the end of year concert, and
Oh, brilliant.
petrified. Like I didn't want to do it, and I did. But what was one thing that was interesting is when you're on stage, you actually don't see the audience. It was
No,
fascinating. You actually can't see anyone there.
no. It's kind of different in cabaret. I did a one-woman show at Claire's Kitchen here it was in the middle of COVID. It must have been 3 or 4 years ago. And everybody's sitting right there in your face.
Wow.
You can see them.
Yeah.
So you have to be so focused, but at the same time, you do want to reach out and touch your audience. But if you're in a big theatre, which I much prefer, I have to say, you have lighting and there's just bigger sense of space and freedom.
Yeah.
You don't have somebody sort of breathing down your throat. You don't feel quite so not inhibited, but just like somebody's just
Okay.
invading your space almost.
What's it like doing
Yeah.
a one-woman show? That must be nerve-wracking to.
Well, it was really interesting because Bev Kennedy phoned me she was running Claire's at the time, the cabaret program, and said, do you want to do one of the diva nights? And I nearly died while driving the car. And I made out I said, yeah, sure, I'd love that. And then I panicked because I thought I can't do this. I've got no songs, my voice is getting old, and I've got no stories to tell. Anyway, Stuart just said, just write down all your songs, write down a list of songs and a list of stories, all the crazy things that have happened to you in your life, and there have been plenty.
Have that?
Oh yeah. And
What's one crazy thing you could tell us?
well, all right. So I did actually go to true prison once.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Wow.
I was performing at the Opera House. I was coming home very late at night and tired, parking my car, and I had to move it by 7 a.m. the next morning or something like that. And I didn't. And I racked up a whole lot of parking fines.
Oh my gosh.
And then one day the cops came to my door, and I'm going to regret telling this story.
You don't
Anyway,
have to if you don't want to.
I know I've told it. I really don't care. The cops came to the door and they said, you owe, $2,000 worth of parking fines. And I said, well, I don't have $2,000. And what can I put them on the lay-by? I was pretty cheeky. And they said, no, you can't. And they said, your only other option is to pop into jail for a night, which was turned out to be Silverwater Prison, which I did.
Oh, oh my
So I
God.
hopped into the divvy van and went off there. And basically, it was a great acting exercise because I went into the TV room with the rest of the girls and I just put on my accent and I don't want to watch opera. What's the opera doing on the TV? Let's get something else on, all this sort of stuff. And I made them laugh. And I fitted in quite well actually, which is terrifying actually.
Oh my God. And Silverwater
And
is like
then,
one of the most notorious prisons in Australia, I've got to
well, it
say.
was only in remand,
Okay.
but it was quite an experience. I had the pat down and I put on the garb and I thought, I've done this out there on television, but this is the real thing.
All right.
Look, all I can say is the food was awful.
Yeah.
And I avoided paying the fines, which I'm not proud of, actually. I do think it's a funny story, but I'm not proud of it because, parking fines, I hate them, they're horrible.
Yeah, but
But
how awful are they? Like you don't pay one, and then all of a sudden, a month later, you got like three hundred
tripled.
dollars of costs that have been thrown on top. Like it's
I
insane.
know. Look, I've never ceased to get parking fines or speeding fines for that matter until I lost my car to wet weather during COVID lockdown.
Oh man.
Beautiful car went out, it was full of water, and they wouldn't repair it. And I haven't had a car since. And so I'm saving a lot of money on parking fines and speeding fines
So how you getting
and
around just with
all
Uber
of that stuff.
and walking?
Yeah, and I'm walking more, public transport. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it did give me an insight, into those girls because they've had really tough upbringings.
Yeah.
And, I think I'm a believer that most people are born decent and with a good heart. Most babies are not born evil.
Yeah.
But if you look at the history of many, many criminals, especially serial killer, well, not so much serial killers, I'm not sure, because I think sometimes there is a psychopathic element to that, which is a real mental disturbance that maybe an upbringing doesn't it doesn't change. But say, for instance, and I hope I don't upset any of your viewers by saying this, but the Jamie Bulger murderers, um, they were kids when that happened, and they had a really violent upbringing. And so I'm not blaming the parents per se. I blame the whole of society. I blame the neighbours. I blame the teachers. I blame the social services systems. I blame the government. I blame all of us.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, that brings me to my beautiful apartment here in Sydney. I've got a balcony,
Yeah, I was
and
looking at
about,
that before. Looks nice.
yeah, yeah. So that's, oh, I can do this, you can see it. That's the
Oh
bit of
wow.
the balcony I'm talking about just there. A young 27-year-old dropped to her death right there on my balcony.
Balcony. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
right there.
Like
And
while you're living there.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It was a real trauma. But she apparently was having a row with one of her parents, and then she threw a book of music over the balcony. She was like 7 floors above and onto the street. And I didn't know that, but somebody told me that's what had happened. And I thought, if only I'd known that she was troubled and that she had an interest in music, maybe I could have helped her in some way. And I think that we're not open enough to our neighbours. We all live in our little glass ivory towers and we don't want to get involved. And I think especially in Western cultures, we're selfish. We live our own lives and we don't want to be bothered a lot of the time. And I do wonder what might have happened. And I'm not blaming myself, obviously, but because I didn't know her at all. But the communities that surround people who are really suffering with mental health issues, we need to, at the very least, alert social services, because so many in Australia have just slipped through the cracks, children and whatever. And it's I do think it's a whole community issue. And that's why I think back on the poor little Jamie Bolger, which was huge in the UK at the time, and just tragic and sickening. But also those boys, John Venables, whatever, they had terribly violent upbringing.
Yeah.
Where does that has to come into play? And also the Anita Cobby murders in Australia. I don't know if you remember
Yeah,
that.
I do.
Those boys also had terrible, terrible upbringing.
And
And
that's
then
what often happen. I had a governor of a prison from the UK come on this podcast called Governor Mullins, the Mountjoy prison, and he said he saw it a lot of kids from that type of like crime families as such coming through the system, and it was often he'd see the kids, they'd become adults, then he'd see their kids like coming through the system because that's all they knew was that.
almost like DNA.
Yeah, yeah. This is
It's
very,
one, and it's the same with domestic violence. It's the same with sexual abuse. It's passed on because so many sexual abusers have been abused. That's a fact. So
yeah,
somewhere it's got to stop, and I don't know what the answer to that is, but I tend to think it's education. I think it needs to happen in primary schools.
it does.
Um, the ideas of respect and also being open and also for a child to have the safety, complete legal and physical safety and emotional safety to be able to say to a teacher or
Yeah,
a prison officer or whatever, this is what's happening at home, but I'm too scared to tell you because when I go home, I'm going to cop it again. And they're just too scared to say.
yeah. And
So,
it's interesting with neighbours and things because I mean, I remember growing up in the 80s, we knew
mm,
a lot about neighbours. Like we knew most of the street. But now
yeah,
I couldn't tell, like I
yeah.
know neighbour on each side, but I couldn't tell you anyone else in this where
So
I
interesting, isn't it?
just how the world has come now. Um,
Hmm.
you just don't
And
know.
I think that's partly because with, couples, they're both out working.
Yeah.
And it's just very easy for us to become isolated from community. I
And
think I'm very
our lives are so busy now. Like you come home,
so busy.
last thing you want to do is like stand out and chat to the neighbour for 10. Like, I mean, that's what you used to do back in the days of the 80s
More
and,
relaxed.
you know,
No,
but now it's all different. It's, yeah,
yeah,
but I get what you're
yeah.
saying.
And I suppose it's just reaching out if you feel somebody needs help.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. It's very, very difficult. I feel like young people, excuse me, are rebelling quite a lot these days. There's a lot of violence, and
Oh,
I don't think
especially
they
with
want it to be like
especially
that.
with women, it's awful. Like you just see it all the time, and you see people like that Andrew Tate in a like it's no woman should be dying from violence or from another man. It just should not happen at all.
No, no. And this is the problem people would say with feminism, maybe getting back to prisoner in a way, because that was really quite ahead of its time. But people like Andrew Tate have a platform, or did, where they can preach their insecurities, basically, because I think a lot of men, same with the Me Too movement, which had to happen, but I think it's made men go the other way. They've either recoiled and become afraid to do anything with women because they're afraid of being touched
Yeah.
or of being accused, sorry, of abusing or taking advantage. Um, or they've become like we're men and this is women have that place and that's what they do, and it's just complete misogyny the other way. I wish we could find a happy ground where everybody just respected each other, but we look to our world leaders to teach us that as well, don't we?
Mm. Mm. Now I'm just being mindful of time, just to go on a lighter note before we wrap
Yeah.
up.
What, you want a lighter note than me going to prison?
That was a fascinating story. That's yeah, wow, blown away by that one. Just getting to know you a little bit now. Favorite movie? I'm going to put you on the spot with a few questions.
Oh, that's impossible. Well, I favorite movie of all time was On Golden Pond.
Okay.
The Henry Fonda and Catherine Hepburn, and I love the piano soundtrack for that, which I played at my mother-in-law's funeral because she loved it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing. Favorite TV show?
Well, I'm a bit of a Netflix addict. I loved Adolescence. I
Oh,
thought that was absolutely extraordinary.
my wife watched it. She said it was, yeah, amazing.
It's mind-blowing. And anybody that says, oh, it got boring for them. It just, for me, I was on the edge of my seat because I felt like I was in the room with real people watching this tragedy play out. It was extraordinary. If I had a favorite show, oh, I've got a few actually. I love Insiders on the ABC on Sunday mornings. I used to love Q&A before it was axed.
Yeah, why
I
did they actually?
love
It's so popular, that show.
I would have thought so, but maybe it's a ratings thing. I don't know. I love Sarah Ferguson on 7:30 Report ABC, and of course Lara Tingle, who's divine, but she's now head of, I don't know, international communications or something like that. I can't remember. And MasterChef. I love MasterChef.
Wow.
Yeah,
Speaking
I
of
love it.
MasterChef, what's your favorite meal of all time? What do you like?
There was one a couple. There are so many. There was one a couple of weeks ago, and I can't. Oh gosh, can't remember what it was. It would have been a pasta dish because I like to cook pasta a lot.
Yep.
Um,
Favorite
yeah,
part?
I can't think of a favorite dish. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Hmm.
No problem. Holiday destination. Where do you like to go?
Venice.
Venice. You been there?
Yeah.
Good to
Or
know.
London.
London. Yeah.
Or Port Douglas in Australia is divine.
Oh, what an amazing place. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Favorite singer, like favorite music, band or singer.
Oh, favorite singer, as in rock and roll singer, Billy Joel, without a doubt.
How good's Billy?
Absolutely idolized him. But I grew up with all of those, Carole King, Joni Mitchell, Elton John. Uh,
Amazing.
there's just so many of them. It was crazy. It's such an era. Um, and favorite opera singer would be Maria Callas or our very own Dame Joan Sutherland, who
Yeah.
was one of the most exceptional singers to have ever walked the planet. It's breathtaking. It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
I was very lucky to work with her at the Australian Opera, with her divine husband, Richard Bonning, who is still alive.
Oh wow.
He's nearly
What was it like?
95, lives in Switzerland.
Oh wow. What was it like working with her?
Work two Joan and Richard were very, very different. Dame Joan was very easygoing and absolutely charming, very professional, always remembered your family's names, and always asked, "How's Lucy? How's the baby?" Or all that. She remembered that every detail about everybody. She always wrote back to all her fans, of which there were thousands. She wrote back to them personally. It's really old school. She came out of the stage door dressed like a star, signed all the autographs. Feel very, very privileged. We all do to have grown up with her. But Richard, on the other hand, he was so good looking. He was like a movie star. And he's a fiery personality, very demanding and incredibly charismatic, incredibly musical. And we're still very good friends to this day. So I speak to him regularly. So uh, it was amazing working with both of them, to be honest. I'm very, very lucky.
Amazing. Two things I actually did want to talk to you about. You were also a teacher at NIDA for 8 years.
Mm,
What was
mhm.
that like?
Oh, look, it's a privilege to work at NIDA. I was there a couple of months ago doing some master classes.
Wow.
Um, look, people want to go to NIDA because it's got the name, and therefore the standard of talent there is extraordinary. Teachers are extraordinary. The facilities are amazing, and the other colleagues that you get to collaborate with are fantastic. When I'd only been at NIDA, this was in 2016, for a couple of months, and they asked me to go on an educational tour to China, which I did with Philip Quast and Tyrone Park and Troy Honeysett. It was just the four of us. It was so wonderful. But then I was invited back to teach there regularly in China for the next few years after that. And that's been one of the highlights of my life, definitely, is working with Chinese students in Beijing. And yeah, it's extraordinary. They looked after me so well, but then COVID, like
Yeah.
it did to many other things, messed it up.
Can
Yeah.
you talk the language or like when you're teaching them or?
I tried.
Yeah.
No, I had an interpreter
Okay.
24/7 basically, because I couldn't even order a pizza. And I had an interpreter, I had a pianist, and I had a classroom assistant. So there were lots of people to help. Plus the kids, I'd say 50% of the kids could struggle through some English. But I just would speak in English, and the translator would be going like the clappers beside me. Occasionally, she'd stop and say, "Sorry, Anne-Maree, what was that you said?" And I'd just say, "Oh." But generally, I got through with demonstration, and I'm quite I suppose, quite a visual, quite a demonstrative person. Yeah, I really loved my time in China.
Wow.
So that came directly from NIDA, which was great. But I'm also teaching at Brent Street Studios, which is the famous dance studios here in Sydney.
Ah,
They produce some of the best dancers in Australia. And yeah, that's extraordinary too, because they're building up their musical theatre course, and they've got some incredible voices there as well. So it's just amazing.
yeah.
But I think most importantly, NIDA is where I met Philip Quast, who's one of my best buddies. And we've done concerts now all over Australia and in London and in Vietnam. And we're working on an album, and we may be going to Antarctica to do some concerts on a boat.
Oh, really?
That's what we're hoping in our old age.
Let
Yeah.
us know and we'll put it on the channel for you for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. It's interesting about China though. My daughter's school did a optional tour to China for I think it was 13 days. So it wasn't you didn't have to go, but you could. Like you obviously we pay and your child could
Sure,
go.
sure.
My daughter wanted to go, which I was really shocked at because she loves being at home.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
she went to China for 13 days and she
Wow.
like
Loved it.
yeah wants to go back.
Wow. I
Yeah,
get that. And look, the food is so fantastic as well. I'm
yeah.
a vegetarian,
Oh,
and
you
I
are?
just found now I'm a little bit of a pescatarian if I'm honest, but I prefer vegetarian. And
How long have
it's
you been
the
vegetarian for?
well, since I was about 18,
Oh, that long. Wow. Okay.
quite a long time ago.
Uh, Only a few years ago.
Yeah, quite a few years ago. Last century, let's put it that way.
But it's more and more in the media now and things like that about, it's better to obviously eat less meat and more vegetables and
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure about the health benefits, but animals, they all have a name for me.
yeah.
Just wait one sec. Come here. Yeah. Yeah, I want you to say hello. This is Reg.
Oh, Reg.
He's my British short hair.
Wow.
Say hello,
Wow.
hello. And he's the most divine, divine, cuddly thing. I adore him. And
Wow.
he's very funny. And I'm writing a book about him.
Oh,
Hold
really?
on. Yes, it's a funny book about a naughty cat.
Is he a naughty cat?
Very.
Well,
If I open the fridge door, he's in the fridge.
Oh, really?
If I get out of the shower, he wipes himself against my wet legs. That's the bit I hate the most. He hops into the saucepan and goes to sleep. No, he's very, very funny. Makes me laugh a lot.
How
Yeah.
old is he?
He's 4, he's 5 in September.
Oh, wow.
Are you 5 years old? He loves being on Zoom. You can tell, can't you?
He's a Zoom cat.
The Zoom cat. Anyway,
All right.
so I've got like a 14-year-old boy coming for a singing lesson
Yeah,
in a
yeah, no,
minute.
I'll let you go. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute honor to have you on. The fans will love it, prisoner fans, and this will be
Oh, thank
a
you.
channel, and
Thank
I'm
you so
really
much.
yeah, to learn about your life and career, and
Oh, look, I don't know if it's of any interest to anybody at all, but
I will be.
um, thank you guys for keeping Prisoner alive because
Yeah,
it's the sort of gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
it's amazing. So yeah, no,
Really
thank you so
exceptional.
much. It was amazing to meet you, and if you're ever in Melbourne, let me know, and we'll have coffee.
Oh, sure, Matt. Yeah, we'll do that.
It's coffee.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Before I let you go, so you mentioned the Palais Theatre earlier on. I forgot to ask you. That's such an amazing theatre, the Palais.
It
It's
is, and
yeah.
Stuart just directed. That's my daughter's father directed Follies there recently, and it was
Oh,
just
the Palais. Okay.
Marina Pryor and Paulette Mann
Yeah.
was in it, and it was absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, mate.
It's amazing theatre. But
Yeah.
my daughter's playing Jelly Loram in Cats at the moment too, so get along to see Cats if
Oh, definitely.
anybody this gets to air.
Yeah,
But
no, no,
she
this
also did her first Grisabella the other night, so that was exciting.
amazing. Thank you so much, Anne-Maree. Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure, Matt.
We'll chat again soon.
Chat again soon. See ya.
Every day. Bye.
Bye.